All right, now joining us here on In the Circle on D1 softball, powered by 643. But I guess coming off a monster year where she hit 316, 10 homers, 27 RBIs, 8 stolen bases, and big news, she is back for another year at Tulsa, which has got everybody excited here. Certainly, Maci Cole joining us here on In the Circle. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Let's talk about the fact you're back. How does it feel to be back? We'll get, kind of get into how you're back, but like, how does it back to have another fall here where that was not really, we didn't know that maybe a few months ago, if you were, that would be the case.
Yeah, no, Coach Chrissy last year stayed pretty on top of that NCAA ruling. So I went into last year, obviously fully committed as my thinking it was my last year to play softball. And just we tracked that NCAA ruling and it got ruled in favor of, JUCO players. And so I'm thankful that I went JUCO. I'll never change that part of my career. But yeah, I'm very thankful for it. And I got granted this extra year and I took it. I was already going to have to come back for schooling in the fall to graduate with my bachelor's. And I'm thankful that I'm able just to extend that a semester and be able to play the game one more time.
When did you find out you were getting the extra year? Do you remember how you found out?
I feel like I ask Coach Chrissy every single day. I probably annoyed her just a little bit too much if there was any updates. Of course, everybody wants, that granted that extra year. So I don't know. I feel like it was one of those things where it like slowly just was like more and more guaranteed, and then I just found out, and I was like so thankful. So
So how did you said you approached last year? Did you approach it like it was your last year? Were you hopeful? Like, what was your mind going through last year as all this was playing out? I know you're not the only one on the team that was
yeah.
kind of going through this. So what was that process like? Did you talk to your teammates about that, especially the ones that were in the same boat?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Well, last year was special because it was my second year at Tulsa. So I had a little bit under my belt as far as this program and just getting, more and more comfortable with the coaches and things like that. So I definitely approached last year in more of a leadership mentality. I definitely was a follower with it being my first year at TU, and especially since my first year here, we had lots and lots of fifth years just from COVID and redshirting and all the things. And so I kind of took their what's the word I'm looking for? Their shoot.
The leadership.
Yes, I took their lead, or I followed them and learned, kind of the program's ways. And then I definitely came in last year thinking it was my last year. So you always want your last year to be your best year. You want every year to be better than the last. And so definitely approached it that way, but much more of a leadership, wanting to fulfill that role, especially knowing we had a lot of new girls coming in and filling the roles of filling the spots of all the fifth years and the seniors that we graduated out. So yeah.
So once you find out that you're coming, you got another
Mm-hmm.
year, and you're coming back, and you said you already had planned to come back. You were going to, school. You have the
Mm-hmm.
academic side, which we'll get to in a little bit. Do you start working on your game like right away? Like, take me through the preparation now. Like, okay, I got to gear up now. Got one more year.
Oh yeah. Well, I feel like it's the same as every off season. Consistently hitting, working outside of, practice, outside of just in your own time. And definitely a lot more prep as a fifth year, just a little bit more upkeep with the stretching. I've learned that. Just, getting older, but I'm not too old yet, but getting older and maintaining that and, really just working on optimizing, your strength, your speed, and then really just the skills, the little things. I found working on the little things are always going to lead to the big outcomes. And so last year, I definitely over the summer and over break, like Christmas and holiday break, um, I focused a lot on hitting. I wanted to be consistent. That was one of my main goals, was to be more consistent than my first year at Tulsa, because I do feel like I adjusted decently well going from JUCO ball to D1 pitching, but I wanted to work on that, and obviously I always want to get better, and I'm always working towards that. And so it's kind of the same mindset going from my first year at Tulsa to my second year, and my second year to my third year here at Tulsa. It's really just little things, nailing down the feel for my swing, consistency in my swing, and just more reps, more reps.
It's been work. It worked. Spoiler:
Yeah.
316, 10 homers, 27 RBIs, 8 steals. You mentioned
Mhm.
you worked on it, and how much did you learn that first year playing in Division One, playing in the American, that really helped you? Okay, this is what I need to work on these specific areas to be at the high level and perform like you did last year.
Oh yeah, it's definitely I learned more than I ever thought there was as far as to mechanics of hitting. It's so you can get so in depth with the technicality and the way that you approach the mechanics of a swing. And I definitely grew exponentially in that part. But I think the majority of it was just my mindset, my approach to the plate. You know, every hitter has a their own particular approach or their own certain kind of trigger feels that they need to make for adjustments, and that was my biggest growth point, I feel, as just my approach to an at bat, my response to an at bat. I feel like what changed drastically just getting here, because obviously you reach a new level, and so you're going to see more failure when, to be able to adjust, and so just that whole mindset, I feel like was my biggest growth point.
Describe, and also you playing. What's it like playing for Coach Strimple, as well, who obviously lives and bleeds Tulsa, played there, and what's it like playing for her?
Oh, it's so much fun. And you can obviously see from, just casual day-to-day conversation, to, practice to playing, how much passion she has for the game. And it really shows, and it shows her passion in her players. She's constantly out here working, having to do, doing individuals based on people's schedules with school and classes. And so she's here, as much as she would, you know, want to be, and which is pretty much all the time, and so we see that, and it translates into us, and she puts her time into us, and it pays off, and so yeah, it's so much fun playing for her.
And then you also, I believe, Coach Smart's your hitting kind of helps on the hitting side.
Uh-huh.
What's it been like working with her?
Oh, awesome. I mean, the exact same way. She stepped up, after Coach Owens stepped down, and she's, she's fit right in and stepped up, and she's out there with Chrissy all the time, just doing individuals and analyzing swings and putting up videos for us to analyze, and going through all of that, making sure she understands the swing of each like individual player, and how to go about that. So it's fun. I mean, both of them together, it's really nice. So
Let's talk about this offense with you back, some other pieces back. How would you describe this lineup here, and what's it been like in the fall, and who has stood out that people need to watch for?
oh yeah, we have a ton of freshmen, ton of new people, new players, that I'm very excited just as a whole team really to step out on the field. And I I I really feel we have a strong, consistent lineup, and we're going to be able to produce, top to bottom. That's one of the things that we've talked about really a lot. Like we don't have a weak link at all. Like I would be very, very confident in putting anybody in the lineup, and, you know, saying this team's going to produce, we're going to produce. Obviously, like you talked about our other fifth years, Claire Skaggs. We really love her back in the lineup, especially. We want her healthy. So she's working on that, just staying healthy and being able to get another year for her. And then, um, I don't want to point like a specific freshman out because we have a lot of good freshmen. Matt Glenn, Malia, tons of others, and we have a freshman pitcher who can slap pretty well. We have a transfer, Madison Garcia. We call her Peanut, but she's a very, very quick slapper, and she can also hit, like stand and hit for power. And so that dual threat, I think, is going to be, very beneficial, especially with her being a lefty slapper and can, produce power. And so again, top to bottom, I think we just have so much diversity with lefty, righty, quick power, that we're going to be able to do a lot of good things this season.
You mentioned Clara Skaggs. See, you're learning the pod game. I was going to ask you about her. She only was limited to 19 games last year due to
Mm-hmm.
the injuries.
Hmm.
How is she feeling? How's she doing? And have you two thought about, man, the two of you together in the lineup, healthy? That's got to be pretty exciting for you. Not as much for the conference. I've talked to some other coaches there. When I mentioned like some of the other teams, they groan when your name came up, which is the ultimate respect. But talk
Yeah.
about Skaggs and what she means and what the potential is with the two of you there in the middle of the lineup, potentially.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we talk about all the time. So I'm actually rooming with Clara this year, so that's
Oh,
nice. We got two fifth years, together. But no, and her experience is even greater than mine. I mean, she's been here since she was a freshman, so the knowledge and the growth that she was able to make way before I was just from the start obviously is very valuable. And she's a great player and she puts the work in and she has the passion like no other. Probably one of the most on the team. It's very apparent that she wants to be in the weight room, that she wants to be on the field. She wants to be everywhere with the team and constantly get better. And that's you can tell from that's her goal and that's her passion. And so having her in the lineup, just in general, is going to be huge. She's feeling great. She's still working on, getting healthy. She's slowly making her way back, and our job, is just to make sure she stays healthy, and we pick her up around. The team picks her up, and we carry her, and she's going to help us, and she's going to carry us in times, and so yeah, all in all, I mean, it's going to be huge having her in the lineup. It's very apparent, probably statistical wise, and just team energy wise from whenever she's, on in the field, on the lineup, in the lineup, versus when she's not. And so,
what's it like you two being roommates? Was that like has that been a nice adjustment? Is that like took a minute to get to know each other? Like what's that been like?
oh no, there was not much of an adjustment. It's been great, especially just with our experience and our goals really being the same because I feel like especially on the field we have the same intensity of play and so just sharing that and then being able to talk through like being leaders on the team, that's what we both strive to be as leaders and mentor anybody who we can mentor below us, and so yeah, it's been great.
You mentioned it. Clara Skaggs has been there since a freshman, and you mentioned some of the fifth years like her and more and more. Like I've seen them since they were freshmen. I
Yeah.
was there. I covered them when they got to the championship game in the American in 2023, where they were a win away from the
Hmm.
NCAA. And even when they were on the bubble a year after that, do you sense from them and some of the veterans that have been here a while about that hunger to kind of get back into that mix of the conference championship and get to the regionals, as well as from you and the youngsters, but especially the
Hmm.
veterans that have been here a while. And this is, the last opportunity.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I think between me, Mara, Alexa Hopkins, Clara, everybody who's returned, everybody who's a senior, we all have that hunger. And I think that's just naturally built into us. I don't even think that it's necessarily just because it's our last year. It definitely amplifies it a little bit. But I think it's top down, like top to bottom on the team because that's been one of the very more apparent things is we've done a lot of team building and a lot of communication and a lot of just like one on like meetings with the team this year to talk about our goals, to talk about the big things and talk about what we want and how we're going to get there and the little things that are going to lead to, come May. We want to be conference. We will be conference, tournament champions. We want to, go to regionals. We want to get past regionals. So we talk about all that very out and, open, and we talk about how it's attainable. We fully believe we wouldn't be so confident in talking about it amongst ourselves and speaking it into existence and being so sure of it if we weren't putting the work in. And so it kind of plays hand in hand. You have to put the work in, but you have to believe in the work that you're, the confidence and your play. And so as a team, we have big goals, and I believe our freshmen to our fifth years believe that we're going to reach those goals, and that we've put in the work, and we're continuing to put in the work all the way up until May to prove that. So,
Let's talk about your journey here. What got you interested in playing softball growing up?
my mom. So actually, my mom played collegiately, and then she coached a little bit in her early days, and then she moved on to the family business. And my dad followed her into the family business. But yeah, my whole family's loved sports, been athletic. My dad played in high school, played football, and so and you know. So I was kind of bound for softball, I feel like, with my mom, but I fell in love with the sport really, and got a lot of advice from both of them. Got a lot of just hard work ethic that I learned from my dad, and life lessons in that sense. And then um, obviously went to my mom about softball IQ and like questions and stuff like that, and learned from her. And so yeah, that's I feel like softball was always kind of in my future.
Where your mom play?
She played at Connors.
Ooh, what position?
She's a pitcher.
Oh,
She's a drop ball pitcher.
that's
Hmm.
ironic.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a little different there. And then you said
Hmm.
your dad played football.
Hmm.
Where did he play?
You know, I wish I could tell you.
He just played all over the place. Okay, fair.
I know. Hey, I know he was quick. So if I got any lick of speed in me, it's from him. So
Was he like? Well, maybe he was receiver, defensive back, something.
yeah.
What? So what's that like having a mom that played softball and played the sport, and then obviously you're automatically you're going to be exposed to it.
Mhm.
But now,
Yeah.
I mean, do you talk softball every day? Is it one of those things where sometimes you got to say, "Mom, I just don't want to talk softball"? Like, how's that? How do you balance that?
Oh no, she's very good. I'm way stubborn headed anyway, and so she waits until I come to her for advice, and I come to my parents and ask them, hey, am I doing this? Hey, am I doing that? Or just need a different perspective, because I'm here at the facility, I feel like 24/7. So, but no, it comes in the fall, it's not bad. I mean, I feel like I do my own thing because I'm it's a lot of my schedule's filled up a lot with a lot of school. And so I'm balancing all of that schedule, and then come spring it's a little bit lighter school wise, and it's dedicated fully to softball, I feel like. And they come and they support every single game, which I'm very thankful of. But no, it's I feel like I'm harder on myself than they are on me, or at least what they show me. But no, I feel like I mean I come to them all the time and I want their advice, and so yeah.
You end up going to Cowley County Community College. Take me through
Mhm.
that process, how you ended up there, and then obviously eventually moving up to D1, which I imagine was always the goal.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, so what's funny is both schools that I committed to really late. And so I committed to Cali, I believe the last semester of high school, if not like early summer, I believe that's what it was. And so I was very thankful that Coach Jenny gave me that opportunity and believed in me, and was able to go up there and play, and I had the time of my life. Like I would not trade that experience for the world. I loved my teams both years. And yeah, it's an experience that I'll never forget. And I really grew from it. I mean, I learned so much there and just got to have fun playing, the game that I love. And then um I committed to Tulsa the last semester of my sophomore year. And what was really funny, this is a true story. So I had kind of in my head like mentally accepted that like either this was going to be the last season of softball that I play, or something like a miracle is going to happen, like God's just going to open a door. And then not but a week later Coach Strimple emails me and I'm committed like a week later. And so I just thought that was so awesome and so ironic, and a miracle happened. So but no, both recruiting processes were amazing. And then God put me right where I needed to be at the right time, and I'm thankful for where I'm at now. So
That's amazing. Have you
mhm.
thought about what if, like
All
if
the
she
time.
does, yeah, like where you be if she doesn't email you?
Yeah, and that was the main thing with like recruiting to a 4 year with my degree. Not many people had a mechanical engineering degree, and so that was like one of the main things, because I was like, I'm not gonna like. And in my head, also, I'm really hard on myself, so I was like, I don't know if I'll go D1. Like I'm looking at D2s and AIA, and looking for my degree really, because I wanted to use softball to be able to get a degree. That was my end goal, was just to be able to get a degree and go on and have a career. And so I'm just very thankful that Chrissy saw me and recruited me, and everything lined up how it's supposed to be. So
You mentioned it. You're a mechanical engineering student, which
mhm.
kind of is like mind-boggling to me that you're playing softball while you're a mechanical engineering student. Let me first start with what is it that got you interested in the mechanical engineering area?
Yeah, so I always took a little bit higher math classes, excuse me, in high school, and then I got introduced through a Tulsa Tech program through Broken Arrow High School, and got into one of their classes sophomore year, and introduced me to like CAD software and modeling and kind of the engineering world in a very brief glance. And I've followed that because I was very interested. And then took Tulsa Tech class again, just off campus. Kind of did one of those half days scenarios my junior year, and really fell in love with mechanical engineering. I tried out a couple others. Like I tried out civil and a little bit of aerospace, I believe, but mechanical was a little bit broader and involved those softwares and involved just the simplicity of figuring out how things work and all of the above. And so kind of went that route. I knew I wanted to go that route. I knew I wanted to go STEM major, and it all fell into place. So
That's incredible. So how do you balance that? Being a softball player, playing at the highest level, an all conference perform, one of the best players in the American Conference caliber, to also being balancing that with being a mechanical engineering student, which
mhm.
that in itself has its own, as you know, a lot of responsibilities and a lot of hours and work
Mhm.
there. How do you balance that and achieve at a high level at both?
Oh yeah. Well, one, I mean, I think work ethic, and I get that just from, being an athlete, in general. But I have to give a lot of credit to, the University of Tulsa. That's one of their strengths is their professor, to student ratio and how personable it is, and class sizes aren't, they are smaller with a private, institution. And so I'm very thankful for that, just the relationships that I have with my professors, and I'm able to go into office hours and really, get guidance and help in classes. And then also with, our coaches knowing our degrees and knowing our schedules and being lenient. And like this semester, my Tuesdays are hectic. I have class pretty much all day, and so I have an individual hitting time to be able to get my work in for the day. And that's just me with Chrissy and Brooke. And so like it's little things like that that add up that allow me to be able to do both. I feel like I check my notes and my teamwork schedule like 24/7 every day, but make sure I don't miss anything. But yeah, it's just who you surround yourself with. I have good friends in classes, just in same degree path, and my teammates help. So it's really just who you surround yourself with, and I'm very lucky to have fallen into such a good place. So
So give me an idea. I'm still kind of astonished by that. You make it sound easy. It's not easy what you're just describing. Give me a random day where it's the busiest for you with both classes and practice, or even during the season when you're traveling and things like that.
yeah, I can tell you about Tuesdays this semester. So we lift in the mornings from about 6:30 to 7:30, maybe a little after 7:30, and then I go straight from lift to my individual with Chrissy and Brooke, and I normally come here or I go to the indoor, depending on the weather, and hit for about an hour, and then so that's about 8 to 9, and then I go home, I shower, and then I head to class at 9:30. I have one class from 9:30 to 10:20, and then I have a little bit of a break. So I have a break from 10:20 to 12:30, um, which is really nice on Tuesdays. It's a good break right there. But then I have class from 12:30 to 1:45, and then I have lab from 2 to 5. And then and then I would like to say my day's over, but normally I end up going to get dinner and then doing some more homework before bed. So
Wow, that's unbelievable. But discipline, that's the word. Did you
yes, sir.
always have discipline and to do that? Was that something because you have family that was athletes? You have to be disciplined. Is that something that came normal because maybe you were as a kid you were kind of raised to be disciplined, and yet this is accustomed to it, or did you just kind of evolve and adapt to that?
Oh, I definitely think my parents instilled it in me. So they definitely taught me how to work. They definitely taught my sisters how to work. We were working, we were doing chores, we were taught respect and discipline and work ethic and all of the above from a very young age. And you earn what you work towards. So that was really instilled in me. I'm the oldest child, I'm the oldest sister, and so I feel like I kind of naturally had that stereotype of um, being a little bit, type A, but it was really instilled with me by my parents and how I was raised.
Now, as I understand it, been told, and you could correct me if I'm wrong. I get this wrong. You were part of a program that traveled to Houston to visit NASA and present a project this past summer, I believe. Is that
Yes,
accurate?
sir. Yes, sir.
Describe that experience.
Oh, it was awesome. So, that was actually my senior design project. So for my degree, everybody has to complete a senior project, and so I did it with my group last year because it was supposed to be my last year. So I did take senior design last year, but um, so we got into the Micro G Next NASA competition, and their whole design challenge was to develop a device, fully mechanical, excuse me, device that would collect 1 to 5 millimeters of regolith, and regolith is just the top layer of or the top surface on the moon. Um, and so 1 to 5 millimeters of that, but the whole design challenge was to not to disturb the grain structure. And so they wanted to collect a sample without disturbing it, like the orientation and everything, bring it back down to Earth and analyze the radiation within the grains. Um, and so it's like a fun little student, I guess I shouldn't say little, but it was a fun student competition. Um, and it was amazing. We got to go to the whole NASA, site. We got to see the NBL pool, missions controls, all of the above, really, that they took us on a tour. And so it was a really neat experience that I was thankful to be a part of.
It sounds like a pretty good experience there.
Oh yeah.
Uh, that's a fun one. I consider you're invested in it. So take me through now. What's your post collegiate softball career? Because you're playing at a high level. Do you want to still try to play softball after this year somewhere professionally, whatever, or are you just kind of going into your career, your career path?
Yeah, I'm set up to go straight into my career path. So I just accepted a full-time offer from Miratech Corporation here in Tulsa. So they are emissions controls, um, and they'll do all of that. So I just signed on to be the project engineer entry level one. And I will start full-time June 8th, and then we are working out some dates. So since um I could technically graduate this December and I'm just adding an elective for next semester. I'll have one class, and then we're looking into a little part-time internship with Miratech to start early. And that'll be somewhere around 8 hours a week. It'll just be, spread out, not too strenuous, but start with them with a part-time internship next semester and then start full-time June 8th. And so I'm very thankful for that opportunity and having that set up already. So
Well, congratulations.
thank you.
That's exciting news there for you that you're set to go, which has to give you a peace of mind
Oh,
for more that because a lot of seniors, you know this, sometimes it's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know
mhm,
where if I'm going to be able to land, like what am I, this
mhm.
you've got it pretty much figured out. Is that going to give you some peace and mind? And you mentioned I think you're taking one class
Mhm.
in the spring. So that kind of allows you to kind of be free and focus on softball a
Mhm.
lot there. Do you, and give you an advantage maybe to some extent. Is that do you agree with that?
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to like just have the time and the dedication that I really want to softball. I feel like I've obviously given that dedication in the past. I obviously have that passion still, but um, being free just a little bit with my schedule, not from what I've had to deal with in the past with back to back to back and managing all of that. It'll be a little less strenuous, and I'll have one class and I'll work through an internship where I'm still learning. It's still a big learning curve. Going to that company, there's an extensive training program, and so that's the reason why we talked through just an hourly internship to try to kickstart that before I start full time. And so it'll still be a little bit of managing, but I'll definitely be able to dedicate a lot more time to softball.
Incredible. Couple more things. What did you work on this off season? What in your own game? You talked about what you worked on a year ago that you
Mhm.
learned from your first year to your second year, which we saw it on the field. It come to fruition there. What did you work on this off season for this upcoming year?
Yeah, so I still feel like I still developed that kind of mentality, that approach. I don't feel like that's changed too much, but my swing has definitely been adjusted for the better. Like it's just still getting that always adapting and looking to improve and looking to be more consistent. I would say more consistent is the key. If I can have, consistency within my stride, consistency within my swing per pitch, I feel like that's going to ultimately produce, 9 times out of 10. Well, I would like to hit 9 times out of 10, but you know what I mean? It's going to produce more than more. So, yeah,
You're
that's
a
what I've been
student.
working on.
You're a student of the game, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
That's pretty. I can
Oh
sense it in your voice. How is Maci Cole the softball player? Maci Cole the mechanical engineering student. How are you similar? How are you different?
Oh, I feel like we're similar. I definitely feel like I approach both like analytically. That's who I am. Just see my engineering side, comes into that kind of like STEM major comes into softball. I approach it very analytically. I like to break video down a lot, and really get to see like if I feel like I'm not feeling an adjustment that I need to feel, or I'm not feeling, my air and my swing and my, fielding and whatever it is with softball. I'm going to ask to video it. I'm going to ask to see it in a different way. I'm going to ask, ask around. And so I feel like that kind of stems from the engineering world. Just kind of that analytic, like study, you would say like study, type of mindset. And then softball meet differs a little bit with intensity. I feel like, I mean, any athlete gets intense when they love what they do. And so, I definitely play with a lot of intensity, and that's one of the things that I pride myself in. I love playing with intensity. I love playing the game that way. I feel like that's how sports should be played. And I feel like that stays on the fields much more than me in a classroom. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely analytic studying and of both sides, and then just being able to let loose and play my heart out on the field. So,
No, it's a really good breakdown. There, you could do media. You could do a lot of things. By the way, you're very well spoken there.
oh, thank you.
When you look at the American, it was the fifth best conference in softball last year.
Mhm.
What's it like playing in the league? Do you have a favorite city that you have visited in the American? What describe the American?
Oh, the American's always tough. I mean, we're always going to be a competitive conference, and that's something that I find prideful, just because I'm part of that. I get to contribute to the competitiveness of of the league, and um, yeah, so it's always going to be a challenge. I mean, you always the conference, the teams, the coaches, the recruiting always evolves and develops and consistently gets better, and so that's something that I look forward to. My favorite city is Tulsa. I love playing in Tulsa.
Other than
You
that,
know.
other than that one, other than that one, other than that one.
Oh goodness, let me think. Oh well, I love the warm weather in Boca Raton.
There you
FAU
go.
is not a bad field to play on.
You're
You
not the
know.
first player to have said this on media
Yeah.
day. Of course, I live in Florida, so I'm not going to argue.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to argue. But Tulsa's good. I've been to Tulsa multiple
Yeah.
times. I do like it. It's very underrated.
Yeah.
I've spent some time there with multiple times there, and gone to Oklahoma City's not too far from there either. So if you want to
Oh
go
yeah.
catch
Well,
the Thunder, you know.
I grew up in Broken Arrow. And so like I went to Kansas for my JUCO, and then I'm like back home at Tulsa. So Tulsa's like right in my backyard. So I'm familiar with all this, and plus I just love the Oklahoma area. So,
It
you
makes
know.
sense. It makes
Mhm.
a ton of sense. Are you gonna like? What's it gonna be like for you this year as you go play each game? Do you take it? Will you take a moment to kind of let it all sink in and obviously you're
Mhm.
gonna be locked in, focused, trying to win and all that. But this is your last year. Like is
Mhm.
you're gonna take a moment to kind of enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like smell the flowers, as the cliche goes.
Oh yeah. I think before I knew I was granted an extra year last year, I checked myself a lot of times because I do get like carried away with intensity with, this needs to be better, this, whatever it is. I'm very, hard-headed in that sense, kind of put my head down and go to work. And so I had to check myself a couple times, just being like, enjoy it, like not that it doesn't matter, but like it's not that deep. Like you were granted this opportunity, and kind of enjoy this time with your teammates, enjoy this atmosphere because you're not going to ever get this atmosphere really again, or this experience. And I feel like I'm just going to carry that into my official last year, and really just enjoy it. Like keep the intensity, keep the purpose behind the team, pick my teammates up, play my role how I need to play it, and be there for all, the people around me. But and strive towards, our ultimate goal. But enjoy this atmosphere that, is very rare, that not a lot of people get to experience. So
Well, enjoy it. I'm excited. I'm glad you're back. I know a lot of softball fans are back. I know Tulsa fans are definitely going to be excited that you're back. Listen, enjoy it. Thank you for taking the time, and I mean it. Like I always tell everybody, take the time from the busy schedule, but you really have a busy schedule, as busy as it gets. But you took the time to talk to us and tell your story, which I'm glad because I wanted people to, to hear your story.
yeah,
Thank you so much for talking to us. Good luck this year. Look forward to watching you play, and thanks for taking the time to talk to us here on In the Circle.
thank you so much. Thank you for having me.